We were watching this. We were just so sucked into this show. There were parts that were like, that feels a little fakey. The stuff that's working now is not the online. One of my favorite things to do is get lost in a really good TV show, series, whatever, and start to identify the patterns and the things that are happening, and then figure out how to relate that to business and specifically what we're doing marketing related. And that is exactly what I did recently when watching the television show On the Roam, produced by Jason Momoa, which is a whole lot of fun to watch, right? But honestly, there's some really good lessons and takeaways and a lot of correlations to what I'm seeing right now in trends around marketing, from digital marketing to traditional marketing, and the kind of blend that's happening in between as traditional digital marketing tactics are really starting to die. So let's get diving in. All right, let's talk about good old Jason Momoa. I seem to be really good at doing videos talking about attractive actors. Might say something. We recently watched Jason Momoa's show On the Roam. I'm a total food and travel junkie. So some of my favorite shows are like the ones that I'll watch over and over again. You know, Anthony Bourdain, like No Reservations. Any of the food things where they travel around and meet people and build community and talk and those kinds of things, right? So a lot of the Travel Channel stuff's a lot of fun. This kind of fell in line with that as being like a story told on the road. And so right from the first episode, my husband and I, we were just sucked right into this show. Part of it is that he has a lot of the same interests. I think we're in a similar age bracket. He's interested in motorcycles and art and music and custom made jewelry and just like fine things. And so this show, the very first episode, he revealed that he had this dream of doing this for his brother and some friends and things, that they were going to find 6 of these antique motorcycles. They're old knucklehead. I mean, I don't know enough about motorcycles.
What the fuck is this?
I don't know.
Somewhat rare kind of motorcycles. And he wanted to get 6 of these things together and do a ride. And apparently that's like unheard of because there's so few of them left in existence. And it was like, nope, not gonna happen, right? And Jason was sort of like, challenge, right? So like that kind of started the foster of this whole idea. And then in so doing, what he did is he wanted to kind of capture this moment. He wanted to create this team, this community of people that were just as excited about riding these motorcycles as he was, and the inspiration of bringing together something that, you know, couldn't be done and things like that. And so the journey of the show is he goes through and he's working with people to help find some of the motorcycles and to like find and restore, but with honor to where it came from, the original thing, right? And with that came like looking into a photographer, into custom made jewelry, into like custom bike parts and kind of all these things that are like his passion and his uniqueness and things that he was really interested in. And he did a really cool thing where he found people on Instagram and kind of started DMing them, and they became friends. And then the people who he was messaging and stuff in similar genres, they all ended up kind of like creating this community. And it was like, oh yeah, this is so cool. Like it was artists of a variety of different media, all ended up having a commonality in that a little off the wall, a huge true appreciation of art and the community that comes with connecting with other people that feel that passionate about their art. And I think what was really cool in the show is that thread, like Jason did a really, really good job of pulling that thread of the storyline through. And what it really came down to was the connection, right? the connection and the true authenticity. Like, he just got so excited about a picture. I mean, if you look at it, like a picture of like a 1970s couch against like vintage curtains, right? I mean, but then to hear like his story and why he's so excited, and then to share that story and that passion and see it light up in the same artist. And then he turned around and did like for every one of these artists and stuff, he actually went and got to know each of them personally, right? He really got to know them. And then he went and found or made or created, like he went to Les Paul, the Gibson actual factory, right? And after having met with Slash, the guitarist, right, he went to Les Paul factory and they recreated this original vintage guitar that Slash had used like all these years ago from 1960 something or other, right? Just very cool. The fact that it wasn't just a gift or like just a throwaway thing. It was like, I see you. I see the thing that you are interested in. I see where some of that passion is coming from. And he found a way to like light up that passion and that curation. That is what he honestly shared on camera. And so like we were watching this, we were just so sucked into this show. I think it's like a 6 or 8 part show, something like that. And there were parts of the show that were like, that feels a little fakey, right? There were parts that kind of pulled us out to where we actually had to Google search and say, is this real? Is this not real? Like, what do we got going on here, right? We found all these interviews where Jason Momoa himself was actually talking about being nervous about like he's not playing a role. He's not being Aquaman. He's not pretend like whatever the role is that he's in. This was actually like him.
I learned a lot, and it's very vulnerable and revealing. But I mean, but at the same time, it's so much fun, and we do crazy shit, and it's got a little bit of everything in there. And so I hope people like it because it's otherwise the reviews are really gonna suck because it's me.
And he put the show together. It was his idea. He produced it, and he was very nervous about like, what's this gonna be like, and like actually putting myself out there and all my interests. Are people actually gonna like it or not, right? And that, my friends, is true authenticity. And I think that's why this show just resonated so well. In fact, for anybody who's seen the new Aquaman movie, I don't know about you, but my opinion was like, it was terrible.
What?
Get out of here. Get out of here, man.
But I would watch another Jason Momoa show like this because there was true, genuine authenticity in it that made you just feel like I know this guy. Like I feel what, like I can resonate with what he's feeling. And I think this is where, when we talk about authenticity and be real and all this stuff, right? There, like this show for me was a great lesson in like really paying attention to what's happening on camera. Not only how you're coming across, but the fake stuff shows through. So like, for instance, there were a couple moments that we were like, that doesn't feel totally real, right? And we went and kind of looked up some of those things. And what it came down to was sort of a product placement or a perchance happenship kind of thing that looked a bit like, oh, Jason's asked me to be part of this show. Maybe I should, I can take advantage of this for like a marketing kind of thing. I think that moment that had to figure this out. And I spent some time like, why do some of these moments pull us out and some really pulled us in? And I think the stuff that was genuine, true, heartfelt moments, absolutely true, completely sucked you in. The stuff that was possibly recreated for camera because the original moment couldn't be filmed, and I mean, nothing you can do about that, right? But the stuff that was probably recreated for camera, that stuff felt maybe a little forced. And then there were a couple of people that kind of came on the show or like product placements that felt a little, I want to say disingenuous. That is not really a word, but like did not feel authentic. Right? And that, I think you can feel it. And that is part of what I want to talk to you guys about here today, right? Is that true authenticity. Quit trying to be, somebody else on camera. Quit trying to play another role. Quit like whatever those things are. The thing that resonates with people is you. It's you. It's your stories. It's your excitement. It's your passion. It's what's in your heart. And when you share that, that's what people see. And instead, like in Marketer Hut, right? Like we get in here like, oh, I got to do this and I got to teach this and I got to have 3 secrets and I got to wrap it up with a close and it has to be in this time. And like, just be you. Right? It sounds so easy. So easy to do. So like that, I think if there's any question, I would highly recommend going and watching this series because my anticipation is that you will probably feel the same way. Like the moments where you're totally drawn in is that complete connection, or when they're sharing that connection that's happening between Jason and like one of the artists or several of them, right? That's real. That's raw. That is not faked. The parts that maybe you're getting sort of recreated and then you'll probably see some of the other spots as well. But some of that stuff that kind of pulls us out of the moment, I'd be curious to see if you notice the same thing. And then the other point I want to make, the key takeaways that I was left from this is, apparently I really like watching documentary or like TV kind of shows, right? And pulling lessons from it. There probably could be worse lessons, but I enjoy being entertained. I enjoy being exposed to other people's worlds. And so I find that a lot in different TV shows and things. But one of the things that really struck me was if we align this to what we're doing, like in business. Jason had a passion, an idea. He had this vision and decided to embark on putting this together, but like pulling together the right group of people who also shared the same passion. That's what we're doing in business. Like our businesses just look a little bit different, right? But what we're doing is like, hey, I'm passionate about this thing. I want to help other people who are also passionate about this thing. And how do we pull them together? One of the things that he did is a trend I have been seeing. Like this used to be sort of old school traditional marketing before the advent of digital marketing. Yes, I am that old to have been around during all those times. And traditional digital marketing has kind of taken us on this route of like, just put up a funnel and just run some Facebook ads and just do these things and then you're going to be an overnight millionaire, right? And we all know that's not true. However, there are a lot of, traditional digital marketing things that are just like not really working anymore. Sales videos and have a funnel and drive people to it and you run your ads. Like there's such a distrust from fake gurus and scams and poorly delivered programs that don't actually deliver on whatever the promise was. And, right? And the traditional digital marketing model for all of my customers that I have seen, it's tanking. This whole like trusting a talking head that you're just seeing online who's trying to sell to you. Like we hear that, right? Just like we tuned in and heard, that doesn't feel super authentic, right? On Jason's show. We hear that as consumers and we're like, no, thank you. You and your stuff can just go somewhere else. I'm not going to take part.
Boring.
The part that is really mattering, always has mattered, is not only like just the authenticity and not fake authenticity, but really, truly being passionate, sharing that passion and finding people that are connecting in your heart, right? That part has never changed. And finding people that share that passion, that has never changed, right? So if we look at like traditional old school marketing, used to be you're going to trade shows, you're having open houses, right? Local things. You're meeting people face to face in person. You're connecting with people that way, like just, actual person to person, not online. That connection and like how we're getting to those connections, that's the stuff that we attempted to do with digital marketing, I think, for quite a while. And what I'm seeing is in the trends is the stuff that's working now is not the online, not the connecting with people like on Zoom calls and a lot of that kind of stuff, but it's more bringing people back in, like meeting in person. Some of the Zoom calls do work that way, but it definitely, like, you have to watch that authenticity meter. Connecting with people, absolutely, we need to do that. How we're doing that, what I'm seeing that's kind of working, like in terms of hybridizing traditional and digital marketing techniques, is using, like the way Jason did, right? He used Instagram to find people, to find true artists that you really liked their work and started messaging them. So they're connecting, they're having a real conversation. This isn't like mass marketing. And that's what I'm finding is the mass marketing, the non-personalized messages, the like blanket broadcast emails, that stuff, it's just not working as much because there's a big distrust. These are the trends that I'm seeing, is things are moving back to the making a personal connection, a personal face-to-face connection, making a point of showing that you care about that individual and they're not just part of some magic automation or like whatever digital marketing tricks we happen to have in the bag. Like, all that stuff seems to be getting less and less effective. And so I am seeing this in our own marketing as well as with our customers, is the stuff where we are taking the time to not use AI. We're not using an automation tool. We're actually like typing a message to someone and responding to what they have said, right? That it actually is a real person. And in fact, sometimes we even allow some of the little like mini typo, like, you know, the fat finger, maybe I'm the only one that does it, but sometimes like my fingers will get faster than my brain and I'll get like a fat finger typo or a missed period or like a run-on sentence or something because you're just typing as you're thinking, right? And some of those things I think I kind of allow, which may be patterns that you could actually integrate into AI tools, but that's probably for another episode. What I want to talk about here is the way that we can use, like, this is actual personal engagement to talk to someone. And beyond that is we're actually taking a vested interest into what they do. So this is very much like the Dream 100 kind of strategy. And for those of you who don't know that, the Dream 100 is basically like you take a list of, 100 of your top, like most ideal kinds of clients, and you start commenting on posts that they're making and looking at like where they're posting, what they're doing. You kind of like cyber stalk them and be a bit of a creeper. Hi.
Okay.
But then you follow them around and you're the one that comments and engages and posts on their stuff. We're taking note of what it is that they're actually doing. We're commenting on it. We're engaging as like being supportive and being observant and not asking for anything. We're just like, hey, great post. Hey, I like how you called this out. We're making digital small talk, sort of. That's what we're doing. That strategy of finding out what they're into. What things are they talking about? What do they love? What are they engaged with? All those kinds of things. And then, just like Jason did on this show, he's getting to know these people, like finding out what is their inspiration as an artist. You're getting to know the person. And then you make a gift of some kind of generosity that's not just a generic, hey, here's a mug with my logo on it. We're actually giving them a very personalized touch and saying, hey, I care about you. Like, I care about the same things that you do. And I want you to have this.
The best gift anybody can have is to share their gift. If you don't share it, it's worthless.
The idea behind the Dream 100 strategy, or like what Jason just did on this show, all of those things, it's showing that you're a human wanting to connect to them as a human. And that kind of reciprocity just automatically says, oh, wow. Okay, I got it. Thank you. Like that makes sense. Let me actually connect with you. This is worth my time. And those are the strategies that we're finding right now that like traditional digital marketing, all that stuff, people are just really seeing through, especially higher level players for high ticket items and things like that. So we're bringing all of that down into kind of a Dream 100 strategy. And when I was watching this show with Jason Momoa, I'm like, oh my gosh, like he's doing the same thing. And his agenda, he's trying to produce this show that meant a whole lot to him, but it also was that he wants to pull together these 6 motorcycles and go for a ride, right? So all that to say that the death of digital marketing. No, I'm just kidding.
Why you bully me?
But there are trends. I mean, just like everything, we go through cycles, we go through trends and different things like that. And I can see that a lot of the traditional digital marketing tactics are getting completely ignored, completely overlooked. And it's I'm actually taking the time to humanly personalize this for you because I want to connect with you. That's the stuff that is making a difference, that is actually generating the kind of business that we're looking for. And that is how we are reaching people online in an era where I think we're actually rewriting digital marketing tactics as they were, right? And I think there's a big separation. If we're talking about e-commerce and like little widgets and we're selling that kind of stuff like that, that's still easy enough to do with ads because it's just more about like math numbers. If we're talking about coaching services, if we're talking about consulting, like any of those kinds of high-end services like that, those are the things that like, hey, these are the people I want to connect with. We're identifying them, and then we're finding ways to personally connect with them. That is what we're seeing, is like that need for human connection of likeness has never gone away. And right now we're just kind of using some of the digital tools to still do it the old school way. And we're still meeting up and connecting with people, right? And that is exactly why I also decided to start my very own networking group where we get like-minded people together and we put similar kinds of people together into roundtables so that we can actually have real conversations about sales and marketing and what's happening in business and trends. And you can actually have those like conversations. And so check it out if you're interested in that. It's smartcollective.org, smartcollective.org. And that one, we have a virtual meeting. And then we are also starting our first local chapter right here in Meridian, Boise area. I'm very excited about it. We're trying to find a way to bring like people together to be able to have a space where you can have a real human conversation and it's not just fake tactics. It's not pitching. It's not, here, let me get you in a room so I can sell you. It's not, here, let me just put you in a room so that I can business networking, like DM drop my business card crap in the chat and all that kind of stuff. Like, no, this is about real connections with real people. It kind of came from a realization of, traditional tactics are dying. They're not working as well. And seeing the thing that was kind of formulating here in my brain and actually seeing those exact same patterns being used by Jason Momoa in this show. So if you have not watched that show, go watch the show, tune back in for more of these, and I'll see you on the next one.